What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Eric, and unfortunately, my computer is completely crashed. I'm doing a hard reset on it. It's going to take a few hours. I don't know if that's going to fix it or not, but it was unusable. It's been having issues, but it's completely unusable. I don't know what's wrong with it. I tried a million things. Not going to get into it, but let's just go ahead and do it. Let's just not give an F about production value. Since the movie didn't give an F, we won't give an F here on Eric's house, and we're just going to go ahead and talk about Matrix Resurrections, because of this film. Wow. The only reason I wasn't completely pissed off and ready to walk out was because I already knew it was going to be very self-aware. I already read some of the reviews, the early reactions and all that. We did that on the channel. And so I wasn't like completely shocked at it, but I was pretty surprised at just how bad it was as far as the self-awareness. I mean, we're talking about within the movie, they watched The Matrix. They watched the movie, the clips that we know from The Matrix. Not only that, they discuss the trilogy. Now, it's in video game. The movie, it's a video game because Neo is actually a video game creator. Okay, he's a developer. So anyway, within this movie, they talk about this trilogy and how the studio, but not just any studio, Warner Brothers, specifically Warner Brothers, is mandating a fourth. Okay, and that if the original creators don't get involved, then they're going to send it to someone else. And like, they can't do that. And like, yes, they can and will. It's like, can you get any more self-aware? Can you get any? I mean, I don't even know. At this point, it's beyond self-aware. It's a joke. But anyway, beyond that, let's just get the self-awareness is insane. The first 30, 40 minutes is just nothing but. Finally, when actually the movie gets going and Neo is actually, same thing as the original movie. When I'm not going to give any major spoilers, but when the movie gets going and he's actually in the real world, not just the Matrix, it starts to get interesting. When he meets up with Niobe, Niobe is back, and it's pretty interesting. And there's some cool, intense conversations. I really enjoy him meeting the new crew. And and Neo is pretty well respected in this movie. I wouldn't say it's a character assassination, even though there were comparisons between this movie and The Last Jedi. I would say Last Jedi is much worse, in my opinion, as far as anyway within the franchise of Star Wars. It was much more insulting of a movie than this is, even though at the same time you could argue this movie is even worse in some ways with the self-awareness all over the place. I mean, it's making a mockery of The Matrix, this amazing original film, and to many an amazing trilogy. I personally love all three movies, but especially the first one, of course. It is a bit insulting to it. They kind of make it out to be a joke. And I think Lana Wachowski maybe didn't even want to make this, but like she referred to within the script of the movie, the studio was going to make a fourth one regardless. So she said, might as well do it. And it's just like a joke. But beyond that, the action, not great. Not great. There's a few action scenes, but even there, the CGI looks terrible at times. It looks like a video game. It reminds me of the fight between Neo and Smith in Reloaded at times, but at least there, they were pushing the envelope. They were doing things that had never been done. And it was early 2000 CGI. This is 2021. Didn't look that great, to be honest. I'm like, what? And there wasn't that much action. There just wasn't. And so that's one thing here. The action was not that great. The music, what happened to the edge? What happened to the awesome music The Matrix is known for? Didn't get any of that. At the end, there was a cover. It was a cover of Rage Against the Machine. It wasn't even the original. It's the best we could do here. It was a cool song, but I think we'd heard it in one of the previous Matrix movie with the actual original band. So you have that, but all in all, just it wasn't that great. As far as the acting and stuff, the dialogue and all that, nothing special. I enjoyed it. Again, I think Keanu Reeves being back, I think he does a good job as Neo. He's Neo. But what else? Just not a lot to offer in this movie, to be honest. And the biggest thing that just blows my mind, you recast Morpheus, you recast Smith, and they act nothing like them. Nothing. At first, when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, it looks like Morpheus. Maybe he'll do a good job. He's like a little more hip, kind of moving. The way he talks is nothing like Morpheus. He even makes fun of Morpheus at one point. He tries to kind of mock him. And he does his voice, and he goes, oh, I'm just playing. How was that? Wait, what? Terrible. And the Smith guy is nothing like Smith. No, no, Mr. Anderson. The guy who in, Bane, that actor did a much better job, but it doesn't even seem like this guy was trying. If he was supposed to be trying, he's horrible. I could have done better. I don't think he was supposed to be trying. I think the director told him, hey, don't act like Smith. Don't do a impression of Smith. Do your own thing. Then why call him Smith? Why call him Smith? Just do new characters. And why call him Morpheus? He's nothing like Morpheus. He doesn't remind me of Morpheus at all. At all. So I don't understand why you bring back Smith and Morpheus and then you recast them and they don't even act like them. Why not bring back Lawrence Fishburne? Reportedly, they didn't even ask him back. They didn't want him back. Why? I don't understand that. It's just they just weren't good. They were fine, but not as the characters they were supposed to be portraying. We'll put it that way. Now Neil Patrick Harris was pretty good. He was pretty good as a villain, kind of the new architect, but he was called the Analyst, I think. He was pretty good. Decent villain. Some cool shots and some interesting stuff as far as, as the slow motion effects. But even though they didn't look that good, I'm not gonna lie, they looked decent for a YouTuber. I'd be like, damn, awesome job, man, my fellow YouTuber. That was sick. But for a multi-million-dollar movie and The Matrix at that, not that impressive. I ain't gonna lie, not that impressive. And there's a few scenes that just leave you scratching your head. I mean, like I said, I was into it for 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Niobe, when Niobe was on screen, basically when Neo was first back in the real world, and a lot of it was rinse, wash, repeat from the original, but at least it's a little bit fresh because it's new and we're seeing it again. It's almost like a reenactment, but at least it was interesting to see. But why not come up with something fresh? But anyway, at least those parts were cool. And when he was first back in it wasn't Zion, the new version of Zion, that was cool when he was back and having conversations with Niobe. I won't say what they talked about, but that was really interesting, and I was enjoying it. And I was enjoying certain elements. They weren't like the exciting parts that you're supposed to enjoy. It was just kind of when things were calm and we were kind of just listening to Neo talk and ask questions and question himself and question, whether he really was the one, whether he did anything in the original 3 movies or not, and things like that. Just certain conversations were I was feeling it. I wasn't like, yeah, but I was feeling it. But that quickly went away. The new characters are not very memorable. I mean, the main girl, somewhat. The little girl from Matrix Revolutions is back. I think it's a different actress, but I think that's cool that they brought her back. And they show a lot of flashbacks, but they're very brief, 5-10 second flashbacks, constantly. I don't mind a couple throughout the whole movie. Like, why? We've obviously seen the old movie. We know what you're referring to. You don't need to show us all the time. It almost is like a fan film, but they know the fan film. We know, if I'm making a fan film, I realize it sucks and I have no budget and the movie's just kind of sucks, but it's just for fun. But I'll show some flashbacks. I'll show some clips from the real stuff so you get a little flavor of the good stuff. But my movie actually sucks. That's the only reason to constantly do flashbacks over and over and over and over and over and over. So I too many flashbacks, way too self-aware. Morpheus, the new actor, and the Smith, the new actor, why? They're not anything remotely like the original characters. Nothing. The story is nothing special. We've seen it before pretty much. Again, there's a couple of, 5 to 10 minute spurts that get interesting and I start to get engaged, but just as quickly I'm disengaged. That's really the story of this movie. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's a good movie. I don't think it's a piece of shit. I don't think it's like a bottom of the barrel complete crap. But that's only because there's so many movies that are so bad that if you say it's complete crap, you're putting it in there with those movies, with some of the worst movies that don't even, you're like, what the hell was that? It's not quite like that. I mean, you can watch it, you can follow it, you can be entertained. If you love the first 3 movies, definitely. If you're a Matrix fan, go see it. You'll find some enjoyment here and there maybe, but at the end of the day, it's not good. It's not Fantastic Four bad, but it's not good. It's not Last Jedi bad, in my opinion. You might like Last Jedi. I don't. I think it's a definitely see it if you're bored. Only if you're bored. If you're not bored, you have something else to do, do that. Please do that. But if you have nothing else to do and you're completely bored, check it out. Check it out. I mean, if you're a Matrix fan, check it out. I have no reason to own it. If someone buys it for me, I'll be happy to put it on my shelf, but there's no way I'm going to go spend money on it unless I find it at Goodwill for $1. It's the only way I'll buy this thing on Blu-ray. So that's my non-spoiler review. See it if you're bored. And that's the best I can do for this movie. Had its few moments here and there, but those are little clips that I can watch on YouTube. Hopefully those get uploaded to YouTube and I can watch those clips. Little moments that I enjoyed. But overall, not for me, dog.